Listen, I have this wife. Her name is Robin, and she would never let me do anything naughty. As bad as I want to do it.
Ladies, put on your reading glasses because we're about to break down one of the boldest manipulations ever pulled in reality TV. And it's unfolding right in front of us on Sister Wives Season 20. Imagine this moment. A simple living room in Flagstaff. The evening light stretching across old, familiar furniture. Kody Brown, phone to his ear, listening closely. On the other end, a TLC producer. But whatever is under consideration doesn't sound like an innocent television concept. No, not a move calculated to precision, but a trap rather than an opportunity.
I have never done speed dating before.
What's your love language?
My love language is physical touch.
People close to the show say this wasn't just a routine preseason planning call. Insiders call it the ultimatum conversation. The exact moment Kody discovered he wasn't at the table to negotiate his role in Sister Wives, Season 20, he was simply being told what was expected of him. For a man who has always crafted his image around being the decision maker, the so-called patriarch in charge, this marked a total shift in power. So, what allegedly went down during that call? According to several sources familiar with the details, the producer laid out a firm checklist of storylines that needed to play out on camera. These weren't ideas to consider. They weren't casual brainstorming points. They were requirements, non-negotiable.
How much longer until you just realize that he's an ass?
I'm not trying to make us back together in any way, Meri.
We are never, ever, ever getting back together.
Kody was told he'd have to sit down, one by one, with each of his 3 ex-wives for staged apology sessions. He would have to show up for that painfully awkward playdate with Christine's new husband, David. And the kicker? He'd be expected to do it all with a smile, selling the idea as if it were his own noble step toward healing and reconciliation. Anyone who's ever managed a household budget while someone else made all the financial calls knows exactly what real leverage sounds like. This wasn't a back-and-forth discussion. This was the network identifying Kody's weakest points, pressing where it hurt most, and doing it with pinpoint accuracy. And here's where it gets even more unsettling. According to insiders, TLC didn't frame these demands as mere creative input for better television. They allegedly put them forward as the only way Kody could hold on to his main source of income.
We talked about the spiritual divorce, and I think I'm ready.
I love that you're doing this, Janelle.
The message couldn't have been clearer. Play along with these storylines exactly as instructed, or watch both your paycheck and your 3 ex-wives slip away. But let's pause for a moment and call this what it really is. Any woman who's ever been cornered by someone controlling the finances will recognize the pattern instantly. This wasn't cooperation. This was pressure, dressed up as professionalism, sealed off with a signature on a contract. And the timing? That's where things start looking even shadier. Christine's tell-all book about to drop, the sudden family relocations, and even that strange little car racing stunt with David. None of it feels natural once you start putting the pieces together. To really see how TLC managed to grab this kind of leverage over Kody, we have to follow the money. And that trail? It takes us straight into territory that's deeply uncomfortable for a man who built his image on being the proud patriarch, the supposed provider for multiple households.
It's a standoff at the Coyote Pass final showdown.
He wants to see me. I really want to tell him that we'll never be friends.
I said I didn't love you. That wasn't true.
Let's deal with the glaring problem first, Coyote Pass. That 18-acre tract of land that was supposed to represent the family's forever home has become instead a huge financial albatross around Kody's neck. From those who have seen the property records, the Browns are stuck with serious debt attached to the land, mounting property taxes, and no meaningful development plan in place. When you're draining money on empty desert acreage while relying almost entirely on a TV paycheck, you're not exactly negotiating from a position of strength, and it doesn't end there. Kody's other sources of income aside from Sister Wives have all but evaporated. Recall the fly-by-night business ventures? The gun holster company, the jewelry business with Robin, even those speaking engagements where he touted plural marriage as a success story? All of them have petered out, leaving him all but dependent upon TLC's quarterly checks. Now here's where it gets sharper. Industry experts note that reality show contracts have shifted dramatically over the past decade, particularly for those shows that remain on the air as long as Sister Wives. What began as filming a family's actual life has morphed into something much more controlling. These days, contracts reportedly contain provisions granting networks significant sway over big personal choices, all in the name of protection of storyline continuity. Translation: if reports are correct, TLC can veto Kody's personal decisions whenever they jeopardize the show's profitability. Decisions about where to live, relationship moves, even how he handles battles with his ex-wives, everything could be under network jurisdiction, depending upon the wording of those contracts.
You and Cody could hang out.
No.
Perhaps the clearest sign of Kody's weakened position is his sudden willingness to take part in scenes that go against everything he's spent years claiming to stand for. This is the same man who proudly declared himself the spiritual leader of his family, who said his choices were rooted in faith, and who insisted he answered to no authority but God. And yet now, he's allegedly reading straight from a producer's playbook, staging reconciliation moments for the cameras. For women who've ever lived through the weight of financial dependence, this behavior is instantly recognizable. The pattern is clear. When money is on the line, even the most stubborn convictions suddenly bend.
I don't want to talk to Cody ever again.
I wanted to apologize with all my heart.
When someone else has the purse strings, they have your options. And when they have your options, your independence is nothing more than a charade you perform for the rest of the world. So what is TLC asking Cody to do exactly? From sources, those demands made on that phone call would leave even the most jaded reality TV veterans uncomfortable. This wasn't your typical producer feedback, such as, maybe mention this on camera, or let's do it on camera again for clarity. No, something much more intrusive was requested. Sources within the show say Cody was given what amounts to a list of intimate, emotional scenes he'd have to act out. Item number 1, private sit-down apologies with Meri, Janelle, and Christine, all with scripted lines committing him to talking points discussing his shortcomings as a husband. These weren't open-ended admissions of past wrongdoing. They were wrought-to-the-point confessions, calibrated to actions TLC's researchers knew would bring audiences ultimate gratification. And this is the part that comes across as particularly manipulative. Producers supposedly didn't couch these requests in terms of acting or of story points on a scripted show. Rather, they presented them as steps along the path to Kody's personal development and family recovery, steps that, not so coincidentally, just happened to need to be filmed for the home viewers.
We're going to close on Coyote Pass soon.
This is bull. I'm not selling this land until everything is perfectly fair and we do this the right way. Sorry.
This is games played in the head behind good words, and it's clever in its meanness. Okay, let's discuss that entire situation with David, that cringeworthy car ride playdate that left all of us watching uncomfortable from home. The cast was telling each other behind their backs they had to film this part over and over because Cody couldn't remain in character. Consider being instructed to bond with your ex-wife's new boyfriend like it's your own strategy for moving on. The amount of pride that Cody must suppress in order to cooperate with this speaks volumes about how desperate his financial issues have become. People close to the filming confirm that Cody pretended to be cooperative during these stage scenes, but you could sense he was struggling. Someone on the inside allegedly claimed he required a few minutes following every take to compose himself, particularly in the scenes where he was required to say sorry and express lots of emotion. This is not a man choosing to open up in order to improve. This is an individual fulfilling what his contract dictates, while his self-dignity is being ripped apart piece by piece. The most telling sign of what TLC desires might be the rumored list of precise emotional moments Cody had to depict in each scene. Not just what he was saying in his apologies, but how quickly he was saying it, how vulnerable he appeared, and even suggestions for when to cry or have his voice crack. It's almost scripting feelings for hooking viewers while stripping Cody of any actual control over his own narrative. What makes this all the more underhanded is how TLC allegedly constructed these guidelines. Rather than labeling them show needs, they framed them as beneficial activities that would enhance Cody's real-life relationships. The underlying concept was, if you don't do these segments, you're not only saying no to money, you're saying no to an opportunity to grow and repair things with your family. Let's turn the clock back a bit, because in order to understand why the network has this much influence, we have to observe how reality TV deals have evolved during the past 20 years. It started with simple plans to tape things, but now it's stuff that would shock even film agents with all the terms. Back in the early 2000s, when reality shows were new, the deals for those on them were fairly straightforward. Networks paid families such as the Browns to document their everyday life with minimal interference. The Browns experienced life with multiple marriages, cameras captured it, and viewers got an honest glimpse at a type of family different from their own. Everybody knew what to do, and the boundaries were reasonable. But when reality TV generated more and more profits, lawyers for large networks realized they had a huge problem in their line of business. What if the real lives of the people became boring? What if the typical thrill ceased? What if key family members walked off? Money involved was too large to allow the story to occur by accident. That's when they began what lawyers in the entertainment business refer to as rules for handling lifestyles. These sections of the agreements allegedly allow networks to get large input into large decisions cast members make, all in an effort to keep the show running smooth, such as relocating residences, altering with whom you're involved, career decisions, even the conclusion of fights. All of it may require network approval if it impacts the plot of the show. Industry people describe this shift as making networks more than just tape things, but make them control everything. Rather than monitoring actual people with actual lives, they began staging situations in order to draw in the most viewers and commercials. The cast members on the show gradually became workers playing staged versions of their own lives. Sister Wives is a perfect example of this shift. Because the show has been on for so long, we get to watch the transformation occur right before our eyes. Early seasons depicted authentic family practices, actual arguments, and genuine shifts in relationships. Recently, though, it feels more manufactured, with scenarios that serve TV thrill over actual family life. Entertainment lawyers explain that long-running shows tend to have renewal segments that become more stringent over time. They begin with something such as, "We'd love to tape your family dinner," but then turn into, "You have to say this precise dialogue at the dinner table in order to advance the plot we have." It has a bad impact on the minds of the individuals who appear on the show. Mental health professionals who treat reality TV individuals state, "Consider years of having your intimate relationships scrutinized, your family battles magnified for entertainment, and your weakest moments marketed to all. Then consider being informed that your finances ride on producing even more personal content when they inquire." This is the context that makes Kody's position now less of him being weak and more of an entire system exploiting him while making it look like a job opportunity. Now, consider this no-win position that TLC allegedly created for Kody, because this is such an apex lesson in mind games that even the greatest business individuals would be in awe of. Consider a man who constructed his entire being on being the top leader, the one leading spiritually and making all the decisions, now in a situation where producers strategize his every move and they dictate his financial future. The clever aspect of TLC's alleged plan is how they position Kody's choices. Option 1, conform to what they desire for pretend makeup scenes, scripted sorry speeches, and arranged family moments, which demolishes all he said he holds to be true about being the family's primary navigator. Option 2, refuse what they desire and have his primary money cut off, making it difficult to sustain the lifestyle he has with Robin while struggling to repay from poor businesses and land purchases. But this is where it gets extremely challenging for the mind of a person like Kody. Those close to the production indicate that TLC didn't merely refer to these as work necessities. They allegedly framed them as good things to do. The general thinking was a good, caring dad and husband would subordinate his pride for the better mending of the family and consistent cash. This is an additional tricky way of phrasing it because it makes Kody's no selfish, rather than protecting himself. Every time he waits to do a shaming aspect, he's not holding his respect. He's choosing his pride over his family's well-being, supposedly. It's like using emotion to push, disguised in helpful language, and it works beautifully. The impact on his relationship with Robin adds more complexities to this tough place. Those in the business whisper that Robin has been watching her husband get made to appear weak, step by step, and it's bothering her more. Not because she disagrees with what he's saying in the pathetic portions, but because she understands what this external manipulation does for their own decisions as a couple. Consider Robin's perspective. She married a man who presented himself as a firm leader who would be able to take care of numerous families. Now she is watching that man carry out commands from television producers regarding how he treats his closest relationships. The psychological impact of watching your husband surrender completely to others can't be overlooked. particularly for someone who held on to the initial concept of power in multiple wives. Individuals close to her claim that in private, Robin has allegedly demonstrated that she's angry, not at Kody's apologetic words to his former wives, but at how he's unable to set boundaries with the network. She apparently looks at every fabricated segment as evidence that their lives are no longer their own, that they're like employees playing scripted roles of their marriage for the world to witness. The worst aspect of this dilemma may be the way it's apparently altering Kody's decisions in other areas of their bond. But let's dive into when all this transpired. Because when you connect the pieces, the amount of planning is unbelievable. Individuals who are aware of filming times whisper that TLC did not merely utilize family fights that already existed. They allegedly assisted in making the greatest combination of events to elicit the maximum emotions from each Brown family member. See how the sequence of events just worked out to coordinate for season 20. Christine's tell-all book comes out to share with a date that is match filming time. Her children begin transitioning to North Carolina, creating distance issues that work in the narrative. Janelle has her spiritual split trip to New Orleans exactly when it provides new information regarding relationships, and Kody gets money issues that make it nearly impossible to say no to network desires. Industry insiders call this much matching abnormal for reality television. Even today, most shows work around what cast members do in everyday life. But insiders tell us TLC may have pushed some schedule times for major family decisions, while claiming it's to capture real moments for viewers. The one with Christine's book provides the strongest indication of potential teaming. Book dates are typically planned far in advance, allowing time for fixes, commercials, and mailing. But somehow Christine's book is released on the exact timing of Season 20's filming and push schedules. Insiders close to getting the book whisper that there may have been more negotiations between TLC's staff and Christine's book team than anyone ever spoke publicly about. Then there's the moving kids. Lots of Brown family individuals opting to relocate to North Carolina doesn't occur overnight. These are huge decisions with job searches, home establishment, and life changes. But they allegedly occurred at moments that make the emotions largest for television taping. Sources indicate that some family may have received prods from show production personnel regarding how well the timing would work in terms of drama. The New Orleans vacation that allegedly began Janelle's spiritual divide concept is another peculiar pairing. Organizing vacations, particularly large personal ones, typically requires forethought beforehand. But Janelle's vacation allegedly occurred just when cameras were able to capture her emotions and decisions. Industry professionals describe this type of ideal personal discovery as quite uncommon on non-scripted shows. But perhaps best evidence is from sources who speak regarding additional frequent conversations between TLC producers and various Brown family members during the months leading up to Season 20 taping. Not typical prep calls, but what insiders refer to as feeling checks and story build discussions that allegedly assisted family members with managing their feelings in a manner productive for television. The psychological impact of all this planning is massive. When your nearest and dearest dynamics turn into fodder for everyone to see, the line between genuine emotion and faked vulnerability becomes increasingly blurred. All right, let's move on to what's occurring behind closed doors with Robin. Because insiders close to the family are reporting, Kody's sole wife remaining is in her own difficult position as she watches her husband get shamed step by step on television for the world to witness. Consider a woman who initiated several marriages believing she was in a strong leader arrangement. Now observing that leader take close instructions from TV producers on how to manage his most intimate bonds. Insiders familiar with Brown home routines report Robin's response to TLC's alleged deceptions has been far more mixed than camera shows. She maintains support for the show publicly and appears to assist in production, but insiders indicate her one-on-one conversations with Kody reveal a very different level of how okay she is being now. The strongest clue comes from insiders who indicate Robin is becoming increasingly upset with what she believes is Kody's inability to set distinct boundaries with the network. One source allegedly stated Robin has expressed concerns with how every imitation piece detracts from Kody's leadership in their own tie. When your husband is following creators on expressing feelings and tie methods, it alters the dynamics in your marriage forever. But this is where Robin's position becomes really fascinating from a mind perspective. Sources indicate that she is torn between supporting Kody's acquiescing to network desires for financial gains while simultaneously showing him less respect as the man she wed as she watches him yield to external regulations. It is an internal battle that allegedly manifests in their intimate discussions. Industry insiders describe heated arguments between Kody and Robin concerning what she allegedly defines as respect versus money. Sources close to these discussions reveal Robin has been pushing Kody to find a way to maintain some personal autonomy while doing his contract work. She supposedly views every scheduled sorry moment and pretend makeup as evidence that they've lost their own narrative. The worst news regarding Robin's personal perception comes from sources that reveal she's offered Kody her own veto. Such, presumably, she's instructed him to begin drawing stronger lines with TLC's desires, or she'll reconsider being on the show herself. For a woman portrayed as the willing, supporting wife, this is a significant shift in prioritizing their private bond above public performing. Insiders familiar with Robin's concerns report that she's particularly concerned with the long-term mind impact of so much outside intervention in their marriage. She allegedly is aware that when people script your feeling responses and not ways, it becomes difficult to distinguish genuine emotions from feigned weakness. The most transparent information regarding how Robin feels these days may be her alleged response to that strange email from a woman inquiring about joining their polygamous marriage. Meanwhile, the Sister Wives Observer community has been conducting its own research into these strange developments. And I have to mention, the group effort in these Reddit spots, Facebook spots, and X threads would make real journalists proud. These people, and yeah, it's mostly women who view this, have been referencing pieces that present a terrifying picture of network tricks that go far beyond normal reality TV making. It began with verifying times that would impress any money checker. Dedicated viewers started correlating shoot times with significant family announcements, and the arrangements they discovered triggered red flags immediately. Christine's book announcement timing, the kids' relocation decisions, even Janelle's spiritual divide find, everything correlated too perfectly to be mere mundane family shifts. Reddit's Sister Wives thread particularly has become a solid location for thorough checks. One large thread titled, "The Timeline Doesn't Add Up," had thousands of responses from viewers who'd noticed the strange matching on their own. These are not fast viewers. These are ladies who've been following the Brown family for 20 years and can spot fake enthusiasm from genuine family habits. The worst discovery from the crew is what viewers term reusing feelings. Astute observers have identified chatter patterns and brawl concepts that continue to resurface in strange ways, always punctually timely for the biggest season smash. It's as if TLC maintains a menu of Brown family emotion openers that they switch on when ratings need an assist. Sister Wives Facebook spots have turned into planning rooms where folks share screenshots, body check moves, and match public papers to check or demonstrate story claims. One of the most loyal spot leaders allegedly spent hours scrolling through land papers, business files, and court material to create a full-time line of the Browns' money spot that contradicts some show claims. The shared collective brain of the group has also identified what they're referring to as maker marks in newer episodes, forced-sounding conversations, manufactured situations that lack genuine feeling move, and times spent together that appear constructed more for television drama than repairing actual bonds. These viewers recognize the difference between real Brown family chaos and manufactured stuff, and they're not afraid to call out what they observe. X tags such as TLC manipulation and let Cody go have gained as viewers express increasing discomfort with what they perceive as manipulating people disguised as having fun. These aren't anti-Brown family sentiment, it's the opposite. Many longtime viewers are looking at genuine concern for the mental well-being of people in families who appear to be stuck on increasingly bad places. The most powerful aspect of this wake-up group is how it's reframing the narrative around Cody. Rather than viewing him as simply the villain in his story, many viewers are beginning to see him as a human being trapped in a scenario designed to extract the most emotion, regardless of the cost to himself personally. This results in a conversation entertainment lawyers have kept private for years, but now are saying aloud. At what point does producing reality TV cross over from taping to exploiting people? Entertainment contract legal experts view the Sister Wives piece as a potential example of how the networks can manage cast members' personal lives and make it legal enough to be able to deny. The big issue, according to contract attorneys familiar with reality TV contracts, is the increasing blurring of lines between capturing actual bonds and creating things for entertainment. Traditional recording maintains definite guidelines about not interfering with people's lives. Current. Reality TV has no guidelines at all, and the laws have not caught up with the mindsides. Entertainment attorney Patricia Morrison, who has represented reality television individuals in contract battles, states most participants sign agreements without receiving the full long-term mind impact of ongoing public gazes, along with network-driven individual time. Such contracts include language that provides networks significant voice in individual decisions in order to maintain the show consistent. Morrison states, "The problem is, when does directing for the program turn into forcing control?" The Sister Wives spot shows what legal pros call a very mixed case because the show has grown over 20 years from recording a real multiple marriage life to maybe setting up parts that help TV excitement more than true family work. This growth brings up questions about knowing agreement and if cast members could have seen the level of personal push they're in now. Contract law instructor David Chen, who examines entertainment contracts, explains reality TV has created a new type of employment that existing work protection does not deal with well. Typical work law assumes employees can maintain work items separate from personal commitments. Chen says, "Reality TV makes money from private ties, making mind pressures that work law wasn't made for. The biggest legal worry pros see is what they call money forcing through life needing. When reality TV is a cast member's main money, networks get power over personal choices that usually aren't for any boss. Home picks, tieways, even how fights end, all may be under network, say if cast members can't leave without losing money. Legal helpers who work with entertainment workers say the Brown family spot is like bigger system problems in reality TV making. The mix of long money needing, constant public looks, and network push for more exciting stuff makes what they call a best storm for mind tricks. No union for most reality TV cast members makes it worse, leaving people to deal with hard deals without group power that keeps scripted TV actors safe. So, here we are, 20 seasons into Sister Wives, seeing what could be the clearest case of reality TV, going from recording to tricks we've seen. The Kody Brown spot isn't just about one guy's money worry or one network's hunt for numbers. It's a look into how the whole reality TV business has changed the power between networks and the people whose lives they turn into cash. The effects go way past the Brown family's home in Flagstaff. Every reality TV cast member with a deal now might be watching this and seeing parts of their own spots. The money needing, the slow loss of personal choice, the push for more exciting stuff. These aren't just for Sister Wives, they're built-in parts of a business that found how to make the most cash from people's weak spots. What makes Kody's tough spot extra clear is how it shows the long mind cost of being on reality TV for years. This isn't a guy who joined for one season of recording and got stuck. This is someone who gave up control of his own story over 20 years until he's fully needing a network that now supposedly plans his closest ties. The money numbers of Kody's spot show a clear view of today's reality TV power setup. Sources say his money outside TV is almost gone, leaving him all on TLC pay while having big debt. In this, network wants aren't asks. They're job needs hidden as teamwork for the show. But maybe the worst part of all this is what it shows about how watchers relate to watching reality TV. We've gotten used to seeing these shows as real records of cool lives, when more and more they're planned acts of set-up parts made to get certain feelings from watchers. The question for Kody and every reality TV person in like spots is, when does needing money mean giving up all personal respect? And bigger, what choices are there for someone so tied to this system for cash that leaving seems not possible? People in the industry say Kody's next choices are really cut down by his money duties now and no other money ways. The guy who once showed himself as a winning leader, caring for many families, now follows TV makers on how to handle his most private ties. The change is done, and the way back to real choice isn't clear. The Sister Wives Season 20 spot might end up as a warning story about the secret costs of reality TV being known. What starts as a chance to share a cool way of life with interested watchers can turn into a job that makes cash from weak spots while breaking down the real truth that made the show good at first. The true question now is, Will watchers keep watching when they know the tricks needed to make it? Or will this clear view finally make the business deal with the mind cost of how it works now? Ladies, what's your take? Are we seeing Cody break away from TLC's hold at last? Or is he too stuck in the money mess to get his choice back? And bigger, which of his supposed sorry times has you shaking your head the most? Share your ideas in the comments. Hit like if this explained helped you see something fresh. Subscribe to keep up with all the reality TV trick ways we're finding. And turn on notifications, because believe me, a new video is ready, and I think the next Sister Wives news will be even better than this.